Hey there, welcome to Heart to Heart. My name is Butch Hartman. I am your host, and this is my lovely co-host, Julianne Hartman. Hi, Julianne.
Hello there. Hi,
welcome
sweetie.
to Heart to Heart.
Thank you. Thanks for showing up.
Hey, we're here today doing a show with one of our favorite people, one of our favorite comedians, actually, Miss Debi Gutierrez. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
How's it going?
We don't have an audience, but I'll try.
We'll put some sweetening applause in
Yeah, there we go.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. How many people do you want in the audience? 200? 5,000?
I think 1,000, and a lot of wolf whistles.
Got it, for the hotness.
Yeah.
For the hotness.
Yeah.
Well, Debbie here is a comedian. She's been in the industry for about 17 years, being funny, right? You're primarily funny.
I am hilarious.
All the time.
All the time.
Really? Like 24/7?
Not all the time. No.
No, but what's interesting is that she was a school teacher.
Right.
And so I want to know, what did you teach?
I taught English, journalism, and speech. And I don't know how teachers do it today, but I know back when I was a teacher, you were competing with the telephone and with television.
Yeah.
And so to get these kids to read a book was like, but you know, we can see it on TV.
Well, now they bring their phones to school, though.
Well, no, now they have
yeah.
their iPads and they have their one of those Nooks. Everything is now electronic books.
Julian, I can't see it. You know, I'm like, what? Where? Really? There's words?
I know, exactly. No, guys, are you primarily a comedian? That's what you do for a living now?
Yeah, I started, though, to speak. I'm going out as a speaker about marriage, intimacy, love, parenting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hold on, sweetie. You might learn something here today.
All
Oh,
right.
we both did the home.
Debbie's on my side.
Yeah. Notice how the girls are sitting together over here. We got the
You know
groups
what's surprising is that's what people think.
I know.
And so then I get, she'd be great for a female audience. But I'll tell you, this last corporate I did, this last speaking event I did, 70% of the men were 70% of the audience were men, and they were seeking me out for what I talk about on stage about men and fatherhood and accountability of men.
Oh,
that's very
great.
important.
Yeah.
The accountability thing's very important.
Very much.
Because as a woman, I mean, a lot of women out there.
As a woman?
Well, as a woman, she's a woman. I mean, as a woman, I think she's a woman.
Wow, more surprises.
Is this another surprise?
From here, she looks like a woman to me. I don't know. But as a woman, though, these days, women are they say they're very free. They do a lot of things on their own. They don't really need men in their lives.
Right.
I mean, our society is really teaching men that they have to be actually more like women. They can't be men anymore. It's like,
Right.
it's like
Well, we want babies. We go to the sperm bank.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you've got people out there saying, and I quoted in my act about these networks are giving little girls shows that are pregnant going, I don't need a father. What do I need a father for? You know?
There was a big popular movie called Juno that was out a few years ago about the 16-year-old girl who was pregnant and didn't need a father, and then she was going to give a baby up for adoption, and the parents were fine with it and everything. And I mean, how does someone like you deal with that on stage?
Well, first of all, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer. But I work in the secular market.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I do so with the guidance of my pastor, and I pray before I go on stage because I am, as my pastor says, you're talking to people that will never darken the doorway of a church.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And so it's a completely different audience. So it has to be in their face and very colorful,
But not judgmental,
but
and not condemning to them, and
It is completely blame-free. I talk about the way women operate, the way men operate, and how different they are. And he will never be your girlfriend. Never be your girlfriend. He's never going to think like you, talk like you. And I tell these women, but God bless these men for trying. Because you see them try as you're talking to them. They're going, that's a name. That's going to be on the quiz. That's going to be on the quiz.
That's what I'm doing right now, actually. I'm going, okay, so I'll be tested on this later.
So I talk about the beauty and the simplicity of a man, that he was created to be the backbone of the family, and to let these helicopter moms know it's okay to back off, especially if your kid is 6th grade or older. That's when you need to back off and let dad come in. And I talk to dads, and you know where happiness made it on a list of priorities for a dad for the kids? It didn't make the list.
Oh, wow.
It didn't. Daddy doesn't care if you're happy, but food, shelter, clothing made the list because a dad is a provider. Character and integrity made the list. And when I step back and let my husband discipline the children, I realize I made the list. Did you just speak to my wife like that? Oh, I don't think you spoke to my wife like that.
Right.
Because I made the list. obedience makes the list. Respect. He doesn't care if they're happy at the end of the day or not.
Right.
You know, and the kids still love him. You know.
Yeah, well, what about when you have the dad who is the, you know, the game player? I mean, like, he plays games and, you know, he does all the fun stuff, and I was always a disciplinarian.
You have to be bad cop.
Because I'm home all day, you know? And so the last thing they want is to hang out with me because, you know, being a cartoonist, he does funny. When they were little, he would do funny voices. He would do every voice. And
but
every
the food, shelter, and clothing was still there.
Right. All that was there.
But what you need to understand is that when Dad gets that kid and throws them in the air 10 minutes before bedtime, and then expects them to calm down, it doesn't happen. So we need you to step in and be that disciplinarian for us too.
There have been many times, it's funny, but there have been many times over the years where I have had to be the disciplinarian because she'll start off a punishment before. And we have really good kids. We really have very few times.
You do. Those girls are beautiful.
You're very kind. It's been very hard. I mean, we haven't had to discipline our kids a lot, but in the few times we have, she would start it off during the day when I was at work, and I'd come in and have to go in there and back her up. And it was just so.
And if they only saw the behind the scenes where we'd be in the kitchen going, "You have to go in there. You've got to back me up." And he's like, "I don't want it. You know, she's so cute.
You already told her she's a little girl. She's 5. I can't go. You know."
But we need you to do that. We need you. You know, and the more you do that, the more playtime there is with mommy.
But you know what I do too, and I probably shouldn't tell these secrets because they won't watch the show. They probably don't have time. But anyway, they're watching Justin Bieber videos. Right. But what I do is he would never do this, but I build him up. Like if they know that there's, you know, they shouldn't do something, it's like, you know, you've seen Daddy, you guys see him so happy, but you've never seen the rap.
That's powerful.
And they're like going, "Oh my gosh,
I've never seen him that."
The Jurassic Park defense, we call it.
But I would say, you know, Daddy and I have had some arguments, and you do not want to see that side of him. Well, that terrifies them.
Of course.
Of course.
Hey, girls, my daughters, that this is still true. Don't forget about that.
Absolutely. So now, where are you in your career, and where do you want to go? And
I really feel like there's a message out there for marriage, and I get people to laugh about their marriage, about their sex life, about their lack of intimacy, communication styles, and they're laughing about their own gender. You know, where men are like, "Yeah, that's me. That's me. Probably never ever apologized in my entire life." But I have to tell women, they're not built to apologize. As a woman all day, "I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Sorry." Men don't do that. No. Because as soon as their feet hit the ground, it's all about not being vulnerable. Even when they're shooting hoops with the guys, they can't be vulnerable. So when I make jokes and I let women understand that, they see, okay, he'll never apologize, but he knows when he's done something wrong. Your tires will be all rotated. Went and had all your tires rotated and the brakes checked. Because there are ways that they show love and apologize. And so they leave loving each other more. I mean, you have to see a show live where you see couples start to kiss and hug. I talk about the media and how they're trying to sell us this bill of goods that a woman has to be this age and this plastic and this young. And I said, there's something about you that he loves. Loves. And you see these couples whispering during the show. And so I want to take that and really build on it. And just, if they're laughing, they're listening. If they're listening, they're learning. And if nobody's blamed, and they're leaving hand in hand with, I remember why I committed to you. I remember why I took those vows with you. I know these kids are going to grow up and out, and it's about us. You know, and so that's my message, and I'm hoping to get into theaters and to shows and develop my one-woman show to really get this message out there.
Very cool. Now, if you have any advice for any young comedians out there now, do you have any words of wisdom you could pass on to the future generation of funny people?
Speaking your voice. Because if it's your passion, you'll get up at 4 in the morning to go do a radio show. You'll fly across the country. You'll feel that passion every time you get on stage going, this is the message I want to give. So if the comedian has a message and their point of view, that's what's going to set them apart from everybody else. And you see these young guys always trying to, is that funny? Is that funny? Can I get some material there? But you know, when you live your material and you're working your material and you're ears are open to statistics or quotes or studies about what your material is about, your material is going to continue to grow.
I was a stand-up for a while when I was younger, and I was like 23, 24 years old. And I was pretty good because I'm pretty clever.
Now, but nobody knows this, but that's how we met.
That's how we met.
That's how you met?
We met at a stand-up comedy club.
Were you doing stand-up too?
Yeah, it was. I was on stage. Yeah.
Were you?
And he was in the audience heckling.
He was heckling you?
I wasn't heckling. I was heckling and I go, hey, whoa.
Oh, you were helping? I hate when they go, I was helping you.
I was helping.
Shut up, 2 drink minimum.
I know. It was a little more than 2 for me back in those days. But I was a stand-up for a while, and I really didn't have a point of view. I was funny because I would come up with funny lines and funny asides and things like that, but I really needed to have a message, and I wish I'd stuck with it more.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have eventually come up with that. Now,
I have a question though first. You said something about, now when the kids grow up and now you're back to you two again. And that was something that was told to me like, gosh, I'd say 15 years ago before when I actually had my first daughter. And what happens is that when now we are become parents, who has time for intimacy?
Right.
And then with all the activities and he's working and then on the weekends I'm taking this, and there's so many parties. He takes one kid, I take the other. So you start kind of growing apart.
You do it.
Well, I mean, in all ways at times. But then now, our daughter is 15 and the other one's 13 and we're thinking, in about 5 years, we're alone. It's about him and I. And so that's why it's really important to nourish the relationship during that time because...
Was that a question?
Well, no, I mean, I just want...
We are bonding. That's what women do.
You're bonding right in front of me?
Yeah. That's what women do. Because she doesn't need to ask a question. Men don't understand. Women think out loud.
Exactly.
And sometimes we need another woman.
I'm going to stand over here.
We're thinking out loud.
You're on the hot seat.
Help me out, guys. Help me out. Call in.
No, but see, I have both points of view.
Yes.
But... For example, let's say you have a plumbing problem. Plumbing blows up. You bring in a plumber, right? He fixes the plumbing. You don't call him 3 weeks later. Remember that plumbing accident? Wasn't it awful? Oh my gosh, my whole living room flooded. I don't know if my insurance is going to cover it. You don't call him a month later. You remember that plumbing accident? Wasn't it terrible? But see, that's what women tend to do, whereas men settle it, move on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I tell women, if you need a solution, ask your man. If you want to think out loud, and you already know what you want to do, talk to your girlfriend.
I'm taking notes. I live in a house where I have 2 daughters, a wife, and I have a bunch of female dogs. Yeah. I need all the information.
And I wanted to touch on what you were saying about exhaustion because exhaustion is real. Fatigue is real. And that's why I tell these women, when I get them all in front of me, I say, let him do all the soccer duty. Let him do the homework. If he's getting a little something at the end of the day, you don't think he's going to brush up on his algebra? You better believe he's going to figure out that algebra. We got to figure this out because your bedtime is 9. Your bedtime is 9, right? Because if he knows he has a happy honey waiting for him, and I tell women, men just...
He's driven by body parts.
Absolutely.
I'm not supposed to hear this.
No, I'm just saying, men just need to be told sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they're just waiting, like, what am I going to wear to church? Well, mommy's going to lay it out, And so sometimes they just need to be told or asked. And a man will do anything if you ask him.
That's true.
Especially if you go in kind of like with my husband. I hope he doesn't. Well, he will, but
he will, yeah.
If I say, you know what, math isn't my thing. You're brilliant at it. Maybe you can take your turn with math. So I've supported him. He feels good and he's needed. And it's that simple.
So like you've done the mom thing. You've done the comedian
Well, now
thing.
you've got older.
Yeah, and I want to get back to the point you said about comedians.
Yeah.
Talk about what you know. So I was up there at the beginning talking about diapers and working mom and kids that don't listen and babies. Then they started to grow up. So I started talking about living with teenagers. Then 2 of them left home. And I'm looking at my husband Travis going, who are you? Yeah. And then I realized, why am I putting myself between him and this kid who treats me like crap most of the day?
Right.
And so, and a lot of it came from when she went to school, the principal said, Dads, he made these men accountable. It was a Christian school, and he made men accountable. He says, 6th grade, time for you to come on board and time for your wife to get some respite because she's been doing it all up until now, and it's time for you to come in and do this. And I really took that to heart. And when I did, I found that, there was much more about my marriage that I didn't realize. So that's how my act grew.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, that's really cool. But you know what? I will tell you. See, 4th grade was the last day I did homework because I didn't know anymore.
Right. Right.
After 4th grade math, I said, sorry, I'm done. And I think you made it to 6th grade.
Bad news, yeah, after 6th grade, I was done with the math.
So thank God our kids are really smart.
Yeah, they are. And my daughter's now in calculus and stuff like that.
Oh, I know.
That's, we'll talk about calculus next, but we do have to wrap it up. Now, I'm so sorry. We'll do a part 2 with Debbie.
Yeah, but we have our foundational scripture for today. And so do you remember yours? Do you have it memorized?
You know, I had so many when you asked that were floating around in my head because as a comedian going on stage, you know, I just have all these Bible verses that I take with me, and you know, depending on, because speaking to a Christian audience is so much different than going to Vegas.
Oh my God!
And there's, you know,
first you got to rebuke the devils out there first.
You know. Okay, real quick, you can cut it out if you have to. But Brad Garrett, who's the comedian who owns this club, he said, what are you talking about out there? Because the valets are saying that people are coming out talking about the show. And I said, I'm talking about love, marriage, and intimacy. He goes, on the strip? And I said, yes.
He said, on the strip?
And bless these men that chose that show to bring their wives to.
Amen.
Then, you know, there's a lot of other shows they could have chosen in Vegas, right?
And peep show.
Right. And this woman said, why do I want to see a naked woman? I'm like, right, because we can do it all day long. There it is. There it is again.
Do you have any appearance dates you want to plug right now? You can be anywhere soon that people can catch you?
Wow. They're all corporates.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. Okay.
But I'll be out.
But we'll put your website on.
Please do,
so people can look you up. And
so as far as my scripture, it is through Jesus I can do all things. Because sometimes that's the one I take up there going, you know, when I see the comedian before me maybe struggling, when I see that there's a drunk in the audience, because like I said, I work a secular venue, so I need my armor. So there's so many scriptures that I take with me for protection and say this has to be out there. This message, absolutely, that's a big one. And Philippians 4:6-7. Don't worry. Pray about everything. And you will get God's peace.
Be anxious for nothing.
So those are the ones. And I think it's probably just show business, that whole, you know, the stage anxiety coming through, and let this message be received.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, guys, listen, I hate to wrap this up. Debbie's fantastic. This is Debi Gutierrez. We just want to thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Very nice to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled. We'll have her back for a part 2 or something. I keep saying part 2. We'll do a part 2 for sure. All right, so this is Butch Hartman and Julianne Hartman signing off. From our heart to yours, I guess we're going to say goodbye.
Yes.
Bye.
We'll see you, and hope you enjoy the show.
Thanks.